But I would have bet my house that he's going to sign with the Phillies. Maybe he still will, but now I would bet against it.
Today's the day. I keep saying every day.
Now you're hearing the Giants and Dodgers are in play. What are you hearing? What's your take on it?
Well, I tweeted out yesterday. I was at Phillies camp on my tour for MLB Network Radio, so we've gone to a number of camps. We were at Phillies camp yesterday, and I came out of it with information from a source saying that the Phillies at this point believe their chances of getting Bryce Harper are remote. Now, it doesn't mean completely zero, but they are remote. And that's the feeling they have right now is that, you remember, John Middleton flew out to Las Vegas. He landed his plane. He was there for several days, and I think he probably was there with the intent, I'm not leaving unless I get a deal done. And then at some point he realized, I'm not getting a deal done, so he left. Now, he didn't take the Phillies out of it, but then the next thing we hear is the Giants are on a plane flying in for a second visit. We hear that they're in for at least 10 years, so they're a player. And then we're hearing the Dodgers are in, and the Dodgers went for a second visit. And what Scott Boras has been saying all along is that they're not taking a short-term deal. They're taking a long-term deal with opt-outs. So the Dodgers go for the second visit. You don't go visit unless, if you know the rules and you're still visiting, then you know what? You're in it potentially 10 years. So it feels like this negotiation has shifted to the West Coast. And that the Phillies, who seem like they might be the only game in town, the door is open. And what it feels like is that Bryce Harper never really wanted to go to Philadelphia. And it also feels a bit like he never really wanted to stay in Washington. Listen, when you get a $300 million offer right away, what they expected they get, and I guess was maybe closer to $400,000. The market's not there for that, it doesn't seem. But it just seems surprising that they immediately dismiss, and in the response to the Nationals, had to at least give them some sense that, it's not really going to be a factor if that's your range. We're going higher than that to chase them away as well.
Steve, I know you know Kevin Kennedy very well, and I heard him on a radio show this morning, a national show this morning, and he said that he knows for a fact that the reason Bryce doesn't want to go to Phillies because he does not like Gabe Kapler, doesn't want to play for him. Is that something that's accurate, or is that just an opinion?
Yeah, I've not heard that. I've not heard that at all. What I've heard is that just comfort-wise for his family, ideally he wants to play on the West Coast. He's from Las Vegas. It's closer to home and that. But I have not heard any sort of issue. And it's funny because it sounded like after the meeting that the Phillies had that the connection that Harper and Kapler made was a good one. Now, that might have been from Gabe Kapler's perspective, but I had not heard that. I don't know that that's true. Mm-hmm. I've heard more about the family being a fit there. Now, the other thing is that Bryce Harper wants an opt-out after 3 years. And the Phillies, I heard, preferred an opt-out after 5 years. I don't look at that necessarily as a deal breaker. At least it wouldn't be for me. Quite honestly, I'll give you the opt-out after 3, and I hope you take it. Because I'll take your best 3 years of the next 10. I'll pay you for them, and I'm more than happy if you leave because, at some point people are going to get the declining performance, and I'll go get the next 26-year-old, give him a 10-year deal with an opt-out after 3, and hope he opt-out as well because I think that's the better bang for the buck and the way to go. So opt-outs don't really worry me. Now, the reason Harper wants an opt-out after 3 years is that Mike Trout's a free agent after 2. Mm-hmm. And what Harper wants to do, have a couple good years and try to ride the coattails of Mike Trout into the annual average value of a bigger contract because Trout, where we see Arenado at 32.5, Trout's going to be closer to $40 million a year. And I think what Harper's hoping is that 3 years from now, if I opt out, I can get close to Trout, more than the $32.5 million a year, and turn this deal into a more significant deal because Mike Trout set a new path and set a new bar, and I'm going to try to raise it.